9 o'clock, we'd like to get started. We'll open with the pledge and prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear gracious Lord, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this morning that you've given to us. Today we think of our people that have served this country. We think of our military, our law enforcement, our firemen, our EMS. We thank you for them, for the safe, and away from harm. And today, as commissioners do business for Costasco County, we ask those decisions will be in the best interest of the people. Thank you for all these things.
Amen. Thank you, Kip. I'd like to welcome the mayor here this morning. Jeff, good to see you. A little glare off the window there, but I'm just saying. Usually we give the clip, you get the buff, so. Entertain motion for signing the claims and minutes.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We have to agree on everything today.
Not necessarily. Okay, and we'll do that afterwards. Next on the agenda, we have the privilege of entertaining the Veteran of the Month, U.S. Army Jeffrey R. Morgan. Veteran Service Officer Daryl McDowell.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Daryl.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure to be standing here in a great, where is the days going? There seems to be going, this year seems going fast.
It's almost
Faster and
March.
faster. I'm losing hours. That's all right. I just wanted to let you know before I present to you the Commissioner's Choice for the veteran for the month of February, that the Military Veterans Stand Down hosted by Goodwill, the dates have been posted, not the details, but the dates have been posted for the 12th of April for Costasco County. It's going to be held at the newly renovated Zimmer Biomet Center Lake Pavilion, okay? That's a change. If you see a veteran, just let him know, 12 April, and more details to follow. It's the reason I said about details, that's where a lot of folks get some questions, you know, to determine how many people come from the VA, Veterans Affairs, to do paperwork and et cetera. That's what that whole stand down. And they get items to help them throughout the year, particularly our homeless. We're targeting them as well. If you find those, please let them know as well. Okay, with that, Warsaw resident, veteran Jeff Morgan was born on March 31st, 1947 in Eaton, Ohio, to Edward and Marjorie. Jeff has two siblings, Dennis and Jan. Jeff moved to Warsaw at age 16 and is a graduate of the Warsaw High School in 1965. Shortly after, though, he entered the United States Army in June of 1966 out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Basic training, Fort Dix, New Jersey. Advanced training at Fort Polk, Louisiana. Great spot. He then departed for Vietnam and was assigned to Bravo Company, 2nd Battalion, 35th Infantry Regiment, part of the 25th Infantry Division, as a light weapons infantryman. His duties were to join his fellow Bravo Company personnel to seek out and destroy North Vietnamese enemy along the Cambodian border. On March of 1967, he was wounded twice by hostile mortar fire, engaged along the Cambodian border. He spent a little bit of time sent to the hospital in Japan, recovered. After his recovery, he was sent to Fort Knox, Kentucky. Fort Knox, he was promoted to sergeant. He remained at Fort Knox until his honorable discharge in June of 1968. His awards: a Combat Infantry Badge, Purple Heart, National Defense Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, and the Vietnam Campaign Medal. Serving his country proudly, he returned home to Warsaw to work at United CenturyLink. We've heard that a few times. Now they're changed, and until his retirement in 2010. Jeff and his wife Margie are parents of 2 children, Mike and Tara. They also have 7 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren. Jeff loves the outdoors, hobbies, and metal detecting. You could be an engineer, you know that. Riding ATVs and spending time with his family, that's probably the biggest pieces that he enjoys at this time. He also is a part-time employee or works part-time for the Kosciuszko County YMCA. Thank you for that, giving back. And they, both Margie and him, currently live in, as I said before, in Warsaw. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our Veteran of the Month, Jeff Morgan. All right. With that, Kosciuszko County awards the Veteran of the Month, Jeffrey R. Morgan, in recognition of his outstanding contributions to the mission of serving the people of the United States, residents of Kosciuszko County, and the honorable service as a member of the United States Army. And our fellow commissioners, thank you for your service.
Yeah, Marty, come up here.
You're an integral part of the program.
Yes, stand beside me.
Here you go.
Okay. Well, I'm not much of a speaker, but I would like to say I'm very proud of my military service and all the experience I had in my time in the Army. I'm not going to lie, I didn't especially want to go to Vietnam, like a lot of people, but I had to do it. I had to do it, so it was a choice I had to make. So right now, I'm glad I did that. If you got, hold this for a moment, would you please? I've got a prepared statement I have here. It won't be long. It's not going to be long. I'm not used to making speeches, but here goes. First, I would like to thank the commissioners for honoring me with this award. I would also like to thank John McDaniel for nominating me and contacting the Veterans Officer, Daryl McDowell, for his support and help. I would like to also thank my family members who are present today and the others who couldn't be here for all this love and support they have given me for all these years. Also my parents, who I wish were here today. I didn't realize that the events I experienced as a 19-year-old 57 years ago in Southeast Asia would have such an impact on my life. I often think of that day when I saw one of my friends, his name happened to be Lyons, and I saw him get shot as I was talking to him a few feet away. He fortunately survived his wound, and the same sniper that shot at him then shot at me and missed me by a few inches. Later that day, the enemy had us pinned down with machine gun fire and began shelling us with mortars. I was wounded twice then, and after I was medevaced to a hospital, first in Vietnam, I learned of the deaths of 3 of my friends, Horn, Burlingame, and Barrett. All 3 I knew well. From South Vietnam, I was sent to Japan to a hospital and later to the United States. I thank the Lord for every day of my life I have had since then. God bless America.
Thanks, Rhonda.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate that. You're welcome. You're quite welcome. It's our pleasure. That's one of the reasons that we started this program several years ago, was so that these veterans who stopped what they were doing, went and did what they were ordered to do, and came back and started right back doing what they normally would do. It exemplifies that. Thank you, folks. Okay, County Highway Superintendent Steve Moriarty. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. I have a couple things to bring before you today. One is going to be a supplemental agreement for Bridge 123 for USI, and this is for an additional $20,000 for civil engineering on the pedestrian path or trail that'll be attached to the bridge. I would like your approval and signature for that, please.
Okay, and that bridge is the one over Packerton Road over Cherry Creek?
Yes, just
Is that right?
south of Pearson Road.
Yeah, okay. Very good. We have a motion.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The next thing that I have, that I'd like to bring to you is I'd like to purchase a total patcher, and it's a Model T 7500. This is for $96,900, and it is a patch machine. It is in our budget, and it's in a Sourcewell contract. This is to get shallow potholes and also seal up alligatoring spots throughout the roadways in Kosciuszko County.
Very good. Okay. That's-
Definitely make a motion to approve that.
Okay. Motion's been made, and I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you
good.
very much.
Thank you. Keep up the good work. Next on the agenda is the Sheriff's Department.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good
Sheriff.
morning, Jim. It's not Mike Mulligan, but you'll do.
Yeah, you'll get to see him here in a second. Sheriff McGetrick's with me, bookkeeper for the sheriff's office, does a very nice job on preparing the commissary report, which I believe each of you have received electronic version of that. We're prepared to answer any questions you may have regarding that today.
I don't have any issues, no, at all. So quite an inclusive report. There's a lot to commissary.
It really is.
And it takes a full-time person almost to keep up with that, because you get 200 and some people in the jail, and that's quite a task to take care of that, so,
I would agree.
okay.
So we need a motion to accept that?
Yeah, we need motion to accept the report.
We don't need it? No.
You don't? Okay. Very good. Thank
Okay.
you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's quick and easy.
Mike? I think Mike's got a grant request for you this morning, so I'll give you Lieutenant Mulligan.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Lieutenant.
Good morning.
Here before you today to ask permission to file an SRT grant for 4 body-worn cameras and 3 years of storage. It's a 50-50 match. The total project's $9,094, and we would be responsible for half of that through our budget.
Okay. Very good.
I'd make a motion we approve
Make-
going for that grant.
Okay, the motion's been made, and I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, appreciate. Keep up the good work, be safe. Okay, County Extension, Andy Farrell. Andrew, I should say. You'll answer to either one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Like you got a helper with you today too, that's
Yeah,
good.
just got my colleague with me. We were going to do a little bit of a quick update on our programming end of things, just so you're aware and kept in the loop on things. On the 4-H side of things in the Extension office since November, we've done about 1,000 minutes, roughly 17 hours of programming. I've hit about 300 youth in a bunch of different schools. We've got 500 youth enrolled in the 4-H program. About 125 of those extra kids are mini 4-H, so kindergarten through second grade so far. We're about 30 ahead of where we were last year at this time. Been doing partnerships with Baker Youth, all 4 community school districts that you can think of for the county: Wawasee, Tippecanoe Valley, Whitco, and Warsaw. Just some interesting numbers of those enrolled in our program. About 35% are from the Warsaw School District, 20% are homeschooled, 13% are from Wawasee, 13% from Tippecanoe Valley, and then 12% are kind of outside district. And so just giving you a little bit of an update on the 4-H end from November till January, basically, of where we're at and what we're doing, what kind of work we're getting into there. And I know you always want to know, fair is July 7th through the 13th. So
Very
you can
good.
mark that down. And then I brought my colleague along with me. She's going to share some of her HHS updates.
Very good. Can you give us your name and we'll go from there?
Yeah, Shannon Shepard, and I'm the Health and Human Science Educator for.
Very
the
good. Welcome,
extension.
Shannon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Since May until today, we've had 101 educational sessions that we've given. We've had learning minutes of 6,335 and participation 2,204. So compared to last year, for the entire year, we only had 121 educational hours or sessions, and then 12,000 educational minutes, and then 5,000 participants. So our numbers are up considerably.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
Okay, I know my grandson's enrolled in 4-H this year, so that's a good program. He's loving it, yeah, yeah. He did a farm project where he built a barn and had cattle and corn and, yeah, he loved it. He had a good time with it. Well, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Be safe. Okay, Cabs, Steve Lockridge. Good morning.
Morning, Steve.
I'm here to present our quarterly 4 claim of the 68805, 2023, section 5311. We are requesting 118,100 from the federal government, and then the 16,250 from the state, and the local of 100,333.
Okay. Thank you for that report. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Do you need a motion to accept that? I'd make that motion.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd make the motion.
Motion to accept the report. I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you. Jones, Petrie, Rafinsky.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Steve Henson, engineer with Jones Petrie Rafinsky Corp. We are the engineers for the Tippecanoe and Chapman Regional Sewer District. We're here today to discuss the application for inclusion of territory. Just brief update on the overall project. Moving along well. We're about 65% complete with the project now, and Chapman Lake possibly could be coming online earlier than the rest of the project, just because of that phase of the project's advancing. Maybe in May or June,
Okay.
we'll know a little bit more. And then the rest of the projects are expected to be complete by the end of 2024.
Okay. Good information.
The inclusion for territory is similar to several we've presented to you over the last year or so. And this specific request has come from Mr. Jeff Carey. He owns 2 acres just outside of the district territory on T25 and just south of Stanton Road. And it's on the west side of T25. He approached the district and said he'd like to develop those lots, put 1 or 2 homes on those 2 acres, and he'd like to be considered to be included in the project. Because our project had already had funds committed and all, the process at this point is if somebody wants to come in, they'd have to agree to pay for the sewer extension to that property.
Right.
And while this is just outside of the district territory, our line is several hundred feet away. And he has agreed that he would be willing to pay the cost for that sewer line extension as well as for putting a grinder station on that property to serve these future houses. So how this typically works, the sewer district has already informally agreed to bring him in, but the process is we come to the commissioners first and ask for this application for inclusion of territory. Once you agree to that, then the district will formally accept it, and then it gets sent off to IDEM, where then they would be incorporated into the project.
Okay, very good. I'd make a motion that we accept that recommendation.
Okay, I second his motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good.
Thank you.
That's kind of what we hoped for, was people along the way would want
Yes.
to come on board, and that's happened numerous times, so that's a
It
good
certainly
thing.
has. If I can just take another moment, on another note, if you recall, the Tippecanoe and Chapman Regional Sewer District agreed to be a sponsor for the East Webster Lake service area. Commissioners participated in some funding for that, as you know, and that study has been complete. The formal application and preliminary engineering report has been reviewed and accepted by the sewer district, which means our next step is we're ready to submit it to the State Revolving Fund, which is an agency under the Indiana Finance Authority that funds these types of wastewater projects. We use similar funding for the Tippecanoe and Chapman Sewer District. In talking with the district and the district's legal counsel, we think our next step for that is to have a memorandum of understanding prepared between the regional sewer district and the commissioners. Again, with a idea that if we get funding, then the commissioners would agree to do application for an inclusion of territory for the East Webster Lake service area. So it'd be just like this process we're going through, only on a larger scale because it's covering roughly 200 homes or so.
Okay, that
in
was my question.
And Mr. Boxberger has said he'd reach out to the county's attorney, Ed, on that issue and come up with some language. The thing is, if we don't address how this East Webster Lake territory would be funded or organized or run, our chances of getting funding are very low.
Zero.
So we need to have a plan in place that says, if we get funding, here's how it's going to become a formal regional sewer district by incorporating into the Tippecanoe and Chapman Regional Sewer District territory.
Okay.
So we would expect maybe in the next 2 to 4 weeks to come back to you with that memorandum of understanding, present it to you for review and action at some point.
Okay.
What we'd like to do is have that accomplished by the end of March, because that is the cutoff date for us to submit full applications to SRF for funding for the next fiscal year.
Okay.
So just wanted to give you a little heads up that that would become.
Yeah, and just to make it clear, East Webster inclusion is going to be contingent upon that financing. So we have to see if we're going to get financing. The memorandum of understanding will help us get that financing. Hopefully that'll be the case. And if we do get the financing, the inclusion of East Webster will not increase the rates of the participants in the Tippy Chapman Sewer District that are currently there.
Correct.
Very
We expect that project, if it does proceed with funding, and it's an if at this point.
Sure.
We don't have funding commitments, but they'd be set up on, there'd be some shared costs to help bring their costs down, but no added cost to the existing district
Okay.
operations.
Very good. 200 homes coming in, that's great. That's kind of what we were hoping for, so.
And we had a formal public hearing as well.
Yes.
Where every property owner was notified via either email or mailings of the hearing. We probably had 40 to 50 people attend, and there was really no negative comments at all regarding the project. A lot of questions about how it would
Sure,
work and the timing, but nobody came forward and said we are opposed to this project.
Okay. I think they understand the importance of that in the future. The added increase in their property values as well, so.
Yes, and it's the last unsewered area around Webster Lake then as well.
That's the big thing. It finishes it off.
Yes,
so.
which is I think, a big plus for the whole community.
You bet. Okay.
Okay?
Thank you,
Thanks.
Steve. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
You betcha. County Attorney Ed Ormsby?
We have a resolution for the commissioners to consider. This is the approval of a transfer of 121 East Main Street in Atwood from Prairie Township to the commissioners of Kosciuszko County. I'll read the applicable portions of the resolution here. Whereas Prairie Township holds fee simple title to 121 East Main Street, whereas the improvements located on 121 East Main Street need to be demolished, whereas the county will fund the demolition expenses, whereas in order to spend funds for the demolition of the property, the county is required to hold fee simple title, whereas in consideration of the county funding the demolition of the improvements in the property, the township desires to transfer 121 East Main Street to the county for no monetary consideration. The Prairie Township trustees executed a similar resolution, and that resolution, along with approval of the form of the quitclaim deed from the trustee to the county, is now set before the commissioners for consideration.
Very good. Thank you. We'd entertain a motion to accept that
I would
transfer.
make a motion. Glad to see this getting resolved.
Yeah. Very good. I know Health Department over the years has had issues with this location, and it's a derelict property. It's unfit for habitation. And so it's going to be demolished, and we'll do that. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good.
Thanks, Bob.
We also have, for that demolition, 2 bids that have been submitted. One is by SAR Excavating in the amount of $32,313. The other is by Site Work Services in the amount of $33,900. So the low bid is SAR Excavating. That the bid terms are acceptable, I believe, to the commissioners, except that the commissioners would want to strike a sentence that says any additional trash removal if needed inside the building will be additional adder. SAR should know what's inside the building, and we would want to strike that term. But otherwise, SAR is the low bid if you want to approve that now.
Okay.
And they also include removal of the stone that. we'd like
They
to have
did,
there, the road
removal of the stone grading, and there is a sign there, a Rovenstein sign that excavating will try to preserve. There's no guarantee that they'll be able to maintain that sign, and there won't be any chipping or breaking of that, but they will try to maintain and preserve that sign.
I would make a motion with the contingency that they strike the line with the removal of the interior debris.
Okay. So motion, I'll second that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. That's somewhat of a historic sign with the Rovenstein family being from that community forever.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice if we could restore that or preserve that. So thank you, Ed, for all your work on that program.
You're welcome.
County Administrator Marcia McSherry.
Yes, I have 2 items for your approval today. One is furniture for the circuit court chambers. I have 2 quotes. One is from KDA Furniture and Interiors in the amount of $12,768.96, and one is in the from Reinhold's Furniture, and it is in the amount of $13,129.17. My recommendation would be to go with KDA. It's the lesser of the 2 if it's approved.
Okay, very good.
By local, but
Yeah.
it's that close, but
Okay.
I would make a motion that we move forward with that. And this is in conjunction with everything having
Yes.
been moved and stuff. It's not like it's just a random getting
No.
furniture. It's because
No,
they're doing
the furniture in those chambers are original to the 1982 inhabitants of the building.
It might be have some value as antique furniture. You
Plus
never
what
know.
people have brought in over the years to kind of try and make it work for themselves.
Okay.
And you're just doing the basic.
Yes, we're just doing the basic, and then whoever the new judge that comes in can kind of fill in and personalize it to their satisfaction.
Very good. Okay. Entertain motion?
You have a motion. I make a motion.
Okay. Motion to accept the lesser of the two bids, $12,768.96. I'll second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Marcia. Anything further?
Yes, in conjunction with the Justice Building renovation, project was officially started yesterday. They'll be coming in to move furniture out in the first phase Thursday and Friday of this week, and then the following week, they'll start tearing out carpet and wallpaper and getting started on that. The first phase has to do with the circuit court and the staffing for the circuit court and the north part of the second floor of the Justice Building. So we have change orders that can be approved now in the amount of $205,741. This falls under the 20% that we can spend from the base bid of this project. The base bid being the $1,684,200. So this would include the restrooms that need the tiles replaced on all floors. This would be ceiling tile replacement. In several rooms, that means the full ceiling tiles replaced. In some others, it's just the replacing some of the worst tiles at that point. And 4 other rooms that were not included in the original part of the project bid.
Okay, very good.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and proceed with that.
Okay, it's been moved. I'll second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, very good. County Auditor, Rhonda Helser. No report today. Okay. Any office holder or department head have any business with the commissioners this morning? Seeing none, we'll move on to any business before the commissioner. We have a special presentation this morning. Daffodil Days are coming up, and the Daffodil Lady's with us. Carol, is that you? Carol Huffer.
Good morning.
Good morning, Carol.
Thank you. It's nice to see you, Brad. Last year, you missed this whole presentation thing.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm here
I
for
do
it.
want to tell you, thank you so much for the invitation to come back this morning.
You're welcome.
As you can see, my right-hand lady that is usually with me, Jan Callahan, is not here. Her husband passed away Sunday morning, and Joe.
You go miss Joe. Joe's a swell guy. Yeah.
He was. I have been asked several times about the American Cancer Society. They are the sponsors of Daffodil Days. So I did some checking. You can go on to their website, which is so super simple. It's just called cancer.org. Or you could make a phone call. They have an 800 number, which I'll give you here shortly. But I'll be honest with you, I've been doing these daffodils for probably 25 years or so, and I did not know how deep the American Cancer Society is in the work against cancer. I was asked, how is it funded? So it is not an endowed organization. It's not underwritten by any healthy benefactors or corporation or the United States government. It is 100% funded by personal donations from people like us and the fundraisings that we do. What does the American Cancer Society do with the money that is earned? In 2022, there was $145 million given to the state of Indiana for cancer research. At this time, at IU in Bloomington, there are 4 doctors working on cancer research. There are 7 in Indianapolis at the IU facility there.
Wow.
There are 4 at Purdue and 1 in Notre Dame. So it's, the things that they are doing are really remarkable.
Yeah.
One of the things, sadly, that people don't know in the area is because, or about the American Cancer Society, is because we don't have any offices anywhere near. I wish that there was some way we could get the information out to the general public on how easy it is, yes, gentlemen, to get a hold of them. There is the website that's cancer.org. There is an 800 number that if you want to speak to somebody live, that number, sure. Next page. Is 800-227-2345. The statistics that the American Cancer Society are coming up with are always 2 years behind because of the studies that have to be done and all of the figuring. However, for 2024, they are anticipating 2,001,140 new cancer cases.
Oh.
611,720 cancer deaths. Now, this is not any one particular cancer disease. It's in a combination of both male and female. Indiana cases. 42,710 new cases are predicted for this year. Deaths, 14,180. The top 3 cancer categories are breast, prostate, lung. The top 3 deaths are lung, colorectal, and pancreas. And it's scary when you stop and think how many people you know.
Yeah, we all know somebody.
Yes, and someone with that type of disease. One of the most common cancers is skin cancer. Exposure to the sun and tanning beds are the greatest risks and cause of skin cancer, and totally able to be
Prevented, yeah.
eradicated if people would use a preventative lotion when they go out in the sun and stay out of tanning beds. I can remember when, as a kid, and I was out in the sun all of the time.
Yeah.
If you didn't get a little bit of a burn, you were never going to tan. Little did I know that as I became an adult, what I would pay for those sunburns and thinking it really needed to be. I had 2 types of skin cancer, basal cell and squamous. The worst one is a melanoma, and thankfully that has not developed in my case. In Jan Callahan's, she had a terrible melanoma. We're lucky to have her. People ask, what does ACS do in this area? And as I said, with the phone call during treatment, people are taken on the rides, excuse me, they are able to get transportation, they're able to get lodging. Several areas of things they do here in this area are with the breast cancer patients who, when they lose their hair, they are offered wigs, all kinds of different products available to them. And the American Cancer's website, as I said, is so full of information. You could spend hours looking at that. It's amazing. Daffodil Days. The biggest reason I am here is that we have really appreciated being introduced to the public, thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Additional. Last year, following our being here and the big picture that was in the paper, Jan and I both did receive phone calls from individuals
Very good.
stating, so it was very beneficial to us. Our sales last year were 474 bunches of daffodils at $10 a bunch, totaled $4,740. There's also a very popular gift given that is called Gifts of Hope. A gift of hope is one bunch of daffodils in a vase that is then created into a beautiful arrangement and finished with a big yellow bow. Gifts of hope are wonderful gifts to give to folks who are going through treatment, their survivors, and occasionally to a family who has lost a loved one. And the gifts of hope are $25 each. Last year, addition to the $4,000 that we did with bunches of daffodils, we sold 85 of the Gifts of Hope, which gave us, 35 of the Gifts of Hope, which gave us $875. And at the end of our campaign, we were able to turn into the American Cancer Society $5,615.
Wow.
We were tickled to raise that amount. Prior to COVID, though, we were affiliated with, able, I should say, to be with several of the medical industries here in the community that some of the office employees and such would get a poster, and our income at the end of the campaign would be a little over double. So that's why we are glad to have
Very
this
good.
opportunity. I should tell, I guess, when I say a bunch of daffodils is 10 stems of fresh cut daffodils, tightly budded. When people get them, they cut about a half inch off the bottom of the stem, put them in water, and we try to do all of our deliveries and things before noon. And by late in the afternoon, early evening, you will see the beautiful big yellow blossoms.
Very good.
One quick item from last year, a young lady came in to pick up her daffodils, and I noticed she was pretty teary. I asked her if there was anything I could do to help her, and her response was, just put me in your prayers. I just came from the cancer center and remembered I had a bunch of daffodils to get. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. She went home with one more bunch of daffodils, I can tell you. And following her through the year, she is now today cancer-free.
Right on. That's awesome.
We also had a lady order 8 gifts of hope. She was a 4-time cancer survivor and knew what it was to receive this gift of hope. There are stories that we often hear from many people as they come and go during the day. We are at Anderson Greenhouse, is where the daffodils come in, and we deliver them, and/or people come in and pick them up. But it's amazing, the stories that we hear. I, a lot of times, just feel selfish because I'm sitting there and being the recipient of some of these beautiful stories that they hear.
Sure.
And needless to say, you always hear some that are pretty sad, but in the long run, it's a pretty phenomenal type
Okay.
of organization. And I thank you so much.
Very good.
I have
Thank you.
posters with me if anybody would like to take.
Okay. Thank you for being here. And
Thank
when
you.
is the official Daffodil Day? Is there?
March the 21st,
March 21st,
Yes.
3/21. Okay.
yes.
Well, thank you, Carol.
I am going to be taking orders through the weekend. I have to call her Tuesday to get.
Through
them
this
done.
weekend is the final. Okay, I'm glad we're able to get you in here just in advance of that. So
Yes,
thank you for your
yes.
time and effort.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work and take good care of Bill.
We will do
Aha.
that.
Good to see both you guys.
Yeah, good seeing you again. Any further business? Hearing none, we'll see you back here on February 27th. Thank you.
Get a quick picture. Did you want to get a quick?
Here, Mayor.